13th century. The army of the Crusaders is entrenched behind fortified walls in the Holy Land. The Saracens hold sway over the Middle East, but their grip is threatened by new conquerors, the Mongols. Their sovereign, Kublai Khan, is lord of all Asia. His alliance with the Christians could disrupt the Arab Empire. Intrepid merchants set off from Venice to serve Christianity, but also to seek their fortune as they make their long journey to distant China. But the road to Kambaluk is a long one and riddled with all kinds of hazards. You will find here the best quality the country has to offer. In a miserable inn in the port of Lias, you settle down to have a meal.
The food is far from excellent, but it's a good place to meet people. Lias is a cosmopolitan port where all the peoples of the Mediterranean mingle. You listen to the tales of travelers who have returned from Persia. One of these gossips asks you, "Noble merchant, are you engaged in arms dealing?" In that case, guard your caravan with care. In regions where wars break out, they lay in wait in order to rob the likes of you. The best thing to do is take an appropriate escort with you.
You do not have enough food to complete this journey.
Deal. Deal. Deal.
Your caravan is complete.
Once you have negotiated the guards, you are received by the papal legate. Teobaldo Visconti is seeking to establish an alliance with the Mongol Empire against the Saracen. Go to Sevasto in Turkmenistan, he urges you, and bring me back some holy oil. Do you accept this mission?
Good luck, and may the Lord be with you.
You do not have enough food to complete this journey. caravan is complete.
The monastery at Sevasto is renowned throughout Armenia and Turkmenistan. Numerous faithful gather there in pilgrimage. They are of all faiths, Catholic, Nestorian, or Orthodox. The oil that burns there is considered holy. The guardian of the premises, a somewhat cantankerous character, receives you rather rudely. He complains, "There soon will not be any oil left if I have to give some to all these travelers." Are you going to offer him money? I always knew that you were good Christians. 100 gold sagis for one bottle. Agreed? Here is a bottle. Take care not to break it or spill it during your travels. May the Lord be with you. You bring back the oil to the papal legate. He is delighted by the success of your mission. The holy oil is intended for Bahian, a Mongol chief converted to Christianity. "Thanks to this gift," exclaims Teobaldo, "we have hopes of winning him over to our cause. But it is also important to meet the great Khan. Do you feel courageous enough to go and meet Kublai Khan?" I knew it. Take this golden cross. It will protect you until you reach Kambaluk. From the moment you arrived in the town, you smelt a strange odor. The streets were empty of people, yet filled with nauseating smoke. In the port, ships were burning without anyone intervening, and yet those ships were closely guarded. At the inn, a young woman walks up to you to serve you some water. "Take heed," she whispers. "Do not stay here tonight." "Why?" you ask. "The authorities are boarding up the houses in the entire quarter to try and halt the spread of the plague. Would you like me to show you how to escape?" That's a pity. The young woman was right. A few minutes later, hammers are heard banging on the front door. Armed guards are in the process of boarding up the entrance. You succeed in fleeing over the rooftops, but all your porters remain locked up inside the inn. By following the woman over the town's rooftops, you manage to escape the trap. To avoid the patrols, you all retreat to the roofs. Thanks to the woman, you succeed in reaching another quarter of Trebizond. This quarter has not yet been affected by the plague or the quarantine measures. In a cheap tavern somewhere in the town's poorer quarters, you order a meal. A maid serves you a frugal dish which you proceed to devour with great relish. You decide to put this pause to good use by broadening your local knowledge. "What are the good bargains in town?" you ask two merchants. "Do you know the local speciality?" they reply. "Silk is obtained by breeding silkworms," explains the larger of the two. "Tiflis is the only place in the Orient where you will find non-imported silk. It's just as good and far less costly than silk from China. And do you know where you can sell it?" Many Oriental craftsmen manufacture brocades. Brocades are made of silk interwoven with threads of gold, so they are desperately in need of silk. For 1,000 sagis, I will give you a list of the towns they work in. Agreed? You will find brocades at Bodak, Arkingan, Yazd, and Sevastopol. Well, happy hunting. Goodbye. After searching for a while, you find an inexpensive inn in the town center. It's not luxurious, but then you have to take the rough with the smooth. After the usual haggling, you agree on a price for an overnight stay. Then the conversation moves on to topical issues in the region. "Are you interested in local politics?" asks the innkeeper. "You should know that the Sultan has rallied to an heretical sect. Do you realize what that means?" "You know that politics often influences commerce? I'll explain everything for 300 sagis. Agreed?" "The inhabitants of Casvin have rebelled and are looking for arms. Come with me. I will show you your room." The town is in a state of alert. From the ramparts, guards check those entering the town. A war is certainly brewing. A veritable delegation comes out to meet you. "Forgive us, stranger, but we have to ask you a number of questions," states the one who seems to be the chief. You assure him that you come in peace with the best intentions in the world. "Some of our citizens are part of an heretical sect. They are accumulating arms to seize power. We have to check the traffic of arms in our town. Are you carrying any, stranger?" "Then we bid you welcome to our peaceful town. Conduct as much business here as you wish. Our fabrics are rightly renowned throughout the entire region." The sight of this village is extraordinary, to say the least. Gigantic pillars of fire appear to be rising from the bowels of the earth. The villagers do not seem in the least surprised by the phenomenon. They worship the fire, and they call it Mazda. They attribute a divine origin to the pillars. An old man seems to appear out of nowhere. "Welcome, stranger. Perchance you are the one I have been awaiting for so many years. Centuries ago there lived in this village 3 most learned magi. One day they followed a star that took them to the land of the Jews, where they worshipped a prophet. He, who was but a child a few days old, gave them a chest containing a treasure. On their return home they opened the chest and saw that it contained a stone. They threw it away disdainfully, and as they did so, a pillar of fire impossible to extinguish shot out of the ground. The man I am awaiting will be capable of finding the lost stone again. Are you that man? The stone of the Magi is hidden under the most ancient of the fire wells, the one the Magi brought to life and no one can extinguish. An animal called a salamander can live in the very heart of fire. Can you find a salamander? May you succeed, for then the stone of the Magi will be yours. In a nasty inn at Ispahan, you find refuge for one night. The maid serves you an unspeakable concoction, which with resignation you proceed to eat. A traveler must know how to adapt to circumstances. 2 other guests strike up conversation with you. If you have a little money, we can help you. Would you like to know a legal means of making your fortune in this region? At Taurus, you can find turquoises of the utmost beauty and not yet too expensive. But you can't sell them around here. Do you know where you have to go? But you can do even better than that, exclaims the other merchant. Are you prepared to pay 500 sagis to find out? At Argiron, the silver mines are open cast, and there's enough of it to cover all the roofs in Bodak. 1,000 sagis to know who's just as interested in silver as in turquoise. The merchants of Cherman are after both metals and gems, but above all, they are desperate for silver and turquoise. They would sell their grandmothers to get their hands on some. And each one of you sticks his face back into his bowl with renewed appetite. After searching for a while, you find an inexpensive inn in the town center. It's not luxurious, but then you have to take the rough with the smooth. After the usual haggling, you agree on a price for an overnight stay. Then the conversation moves on to topical issues in the region. "Are you interested in local politics?" asks the innkeeper. "You should know that the Sultan has rallied to an heretical sect. Do you realize what that means? In that case, you are a shrewd politician. How much would you be willing to pay for guaranteed information? 100 sagis? A town close by immediately rebelled. For 500 sagis, I will tell you which one. Sirac is the town that rebelled, and the rebels are looking for arms. Come with me, I will show you your room." Bodak is undoubtedly the largest town in the Orient. It is known today under the name of Baghdad. In the miserable inn where you have found refuge, you meet a woman who declares herself a Christian and tells you a strange legend. In the old days, there was in Bodak a most cruel Saracen caliph who wished great evil on Christians. He challenged a one-eyed cobbler to prove the word of the scriptures which says that the faith of a single man can move a mountain. The cobbler was such a good Christian that he had once blinded himself in one eye with his awl when he found his thoughts troubled by the sight of a pretty woman. For the gospel says, "If your eye is the source of sin, tear it out, for it is better to enter the kingdom of heaven with one eye than hell with two." The cobbler prayed so much that an angel appeared, and a mountain began to roll down and move towards the town in one terrifying earthquake. "Stop your prayers," pleaded the caliph, who immediately converted. But he did so in secret for fear of the other Saracens. And that is why all the Christians in the province are free and treated well. Do you believe this story? Bad Christian. Thank the cobbler, without whom the Saracens would certainly have made you perish. You give her a purse to prevent her from denouncing you to the Saracens. Rightly so, for that cobbler was my grandfather, and the Christians have erected a chapel in his memory. You take your leave, and give her a purse in aid of her charities. In the camp of the Saracen armies, you head towards Yusuf's tent. He receives you with great courtesy. You are Christian and are therefore free to stock up with supplies at Trebizond or even at Acre. Could you supply me with arms? Buy all you can and return quickly. May Allah protect you.
Deal. You chose well. You won't find any better than you will here. You will find here the best quality the country has to offer. Only because it's you. What quantity are you taking? You've got a bargain. It's the very best quality. Look at this quality. A real bargain and you know it. But take your time. That's a reasonable price. Let's shake hands. How much are you taking? You'll see. It's quality merchandise. You chose well. You won't find any better than you will here. I agree out of kindness to you. How many will you have? You'll be satisfied. There's no better on the market. It's excellent merchandise, and I'm selling it at the best possible price. Only because it's you. What quantity are you taking? You won't regret it. For this sort of quality, it really is a friendly price. Look how wonderful this merchandise is. It's the best in the world. It's a deal. I accept. How many do you want to buy? Now go. Go, before I regret the gift I've just made you.
In the camp of the Saracen armies, you head towards Yusuf's tent. He welcomes you graciously. These arms are the most precious gift I could ever receive. To prove my gratitude, I shall give you precious stones.
Deal.
You find an inn to spend the night. A maid is clearly attempting to draw your attention. As she brings you some water, she whispers in your ear that she has valuable information on the region. She is offering you a good piece of advice for 500 saggies. Will you take it? A band of thieves is operating in the region. For only 1,000 saggies, I will reveal to you the way to protect yourself. Agreed? If you travel in the direction of Ispahan, they come from the northeast. However, towards Cherman, they always attack from the south. Would you like to find out about their method for 5,000 saggies? They cause a magic fog which they alone can see through. Farewell. I hope you survive nonetheless.
Deal.
Certain stopovers along the route do not offer the comfort of palaces, but one doesn't always have the opportunity to dine with the greats of this world. And if you can forget the surroundings and the odors, you can meet some very interesting people. These two merchants seem to know the region well. Will you try and get them to talk? Yes, yes, says one of the merchants. The local craftsman makes some very nice jewelry. Does that mean anything to you? Then you must be in the trade, the man grins. That means we are competitors. Good luck, dear colleague. You are having a meal in a dilapidated inn in the suburbs of the town. The food is uninspiring, but a traveler such as yourself has experienced worse. Two merchants in the inn speak to you. They beg you to help them. They are two Christian jewelers forced to leave the town before dawn. The caliph is persecuting us for religious reasons. Could you sell us a camel? They then take out a purse filled with sparkling gems. 1 ruby for your camel, but you can have all 10 for 20,000 sagis. Agreed? You pay for the rubies and wish the two merchants the best of voyages. They salute you and leave hurriedly. But after their departure, you notice that the rubies are fake, and the two thieves have left with your camel.
Deal.
As you're about to leave the inn where you spent the night, a maid tries to attract your attention. While bringing you some water, she whispers in your ear that she has information on the region. She offers to give you good advice for 100 sagis. Do you agree? There are dangerous bandits named Caronas operating in this region. Do you want to know a means of protecting yourself for 500 sagis? They always attack from the northeast. Do you want to know their method for 1,000 sagis? Inshallah, handsome traveler, I hope you survive the dangers of the road.
You do not have enough food to complete this journey. You do not have enough food to complete this journey.
This desert region is known as the province of the dry tree. You set up camp at the foot of the tree itself. An old man comes towards you and tells you of a legend. In days long past, there lived here a man they referred to as the Old Man from the Mountain. Born in the faith of Muhammad, he dreamt of transforming his men into murderers feared by all. He had a fortress built with a garden full of delights and the most beautiful damsels the world had ever seen. Making his men believe that it was paradise, he sent them off on missions to assassinate his enemies. As they thought they were already dead, they remained faithful to him in order to stay in paradise. It took more than 3 years of siege before the brother of the Khan of all Mongols succeeded in capturing him. Do you find this story interesting? You are right too, for it is true, and few are the Christians who know it. You could well enjoy success by telling it at the courts of Europe.
You do not have enough food to complete this journey.
Deal.
İçimge gelmiyorsun, bizge kelge adetli, hiç kelge bilmeyme yürümem o, eserdik ya nasıl. Ben sayinde bile, merem sayinde bile, ben sayinde ben sayinde bile, merem sayinde bile, merem sayinde.
At the village's only inn, you eat a frugal meal. One is not always fortunate enough to be received by princes. And it's often in places such as this that a shrewd merchant will find his best informants. Take, for instance, these arms traffickers who are offering you a good tip. Will you lend them your ear? They happen to have first-hand information. Are you prepared to pay 100 sagis for it? In a confiding tone, you are informed that excellent arms are manufactured here. They are shipped to the great market at Samarkand, where they are purchased by the Mongols. Then each and every one goes back to his meal and business. Inside a miserable tavern in the old quarter of Samarkand, you order a meal which proves to be in keeping with the decor. But man has to eat, and so you turn your attention to your fellow sufferers. Do you know the region well? You ask two travelers sitting opposite you. We have been traveling it for more than 20 years, answers the more talkative one. Do you need any advice? You are looking for rare and original goods? I think I know what you are looking for, but are you willing to pay 100 sagis for the information? I know the only place in the Orient where you can find all of China's products. It's a port on the Indian Sea called Kurmos. Do you know where it is situated? It's not on the direct route of those traveling to the Orient. Are you willing to pay 500 sagis to be shown the way? It's on the Persian Gulf, a capital to the south of Cherman. Don't you find the weather rather miserable for the time of year? And the dreary dinner continued.
You do not have enough food to complete this journey.
The Chief Bektor is giving a large reception in your honor. It is he who commands the great hordes of Western Tartars on behalf of Kublai. He is conducting a merciless war against all Saracens. But now is a time of relaxation and celebration. Fermented mare's milk is flowing in abundance. The great Mongol chief continually invites you to empty your cup. You are much more of an ambassador, I feel, than a merchant. Bektor pursues the line of thought that seems to preoccupy him. I imagine you must certainly have carried out many missions. Bektor smiles as he hears the answer he was expecting. Would you agree to do me a favor? He asks innocently. It's a confidential mission, and it concerns one of my wives. She is currently staying with her mother at Pem. Would you go there and bring her back? Obviously, she may not fully consent to the idea. In fact, the last time I saw her, she was even somewhat annoyed. Do you think you will have any difficulty in persuading her? I suppose it's not your usual line of business. Ah, well, it's unfortunate, but I cannot impose on my guests. I shall give you 5 horsemen to serve you and escort you. Bring me back my wife, and I shall reward you accordingly.
You do not have enough food to complete this journey. You do not have enough food to complete this journey.
Deal. Deal.
You are having a meal in a dilapidated inn in the town suburbs. The food is uninspiring, but a traveler such as yourself has experienced worse. Two merchants in the inn speak to you. They beg you to help them. They are two Christian jewelers forced to leave the town before dawn. The caliph is persecuting us for religious reasons. Could you sell us a camel? The smaller of the two pleads with you, while the taller one tugs at your sleeve. You stay firm. But as soon as they have left, you notice that they have been through your pockets.
Deal.
Next to the temple of Badaskian, there stands an immense Lama monastery. You are welcomed by a group of monks wearing traditional gowns. You greet the senior monk. He is charmed to meet a traveler from the distant west. Are you heading towards the northeast? He asks you. Are you on good terms with the Mongols? You assure him that you enjoy excellent relations with the Mongols. I have a small favor to ask you, one that will not cause you any detour, nor will it burden you in any way. Do you accept? I know a brave Mongol chief named Yugechi. Could you take a bag of sacred powder to him at Tolbanur? Many thanks to you, O precious friend. May the heavens be favorable to your voyage.
Deal. Deal.
When you arrive in town, you realize that war appears imminent. There are guards everywhere checking all those who enter the city center. Your appearance as a peaceable merchant seems to convince them, and they let you pass. But a small group of local dignitaries comes towards you. There are powerful warriors in a village close by. They have been our hereditary enemies for centuries. We have a great need for all types of weapons. Can you supply them to us? Go and sell them on the market. You will get a good price, and you will be a benefactor for our village. At Khotan, crowds from all over the province have gathered at the market. Though you walk quickly, nothing escapes you. Thus you take note of the specialities of each trader you pass. To discover the market gossip, you question one of the traders. Tactfully, you ask him about the riches and rare objects in the neighboring region. It is then that he mentions a fabulous metal. Are you willing to pay 100 sagis to hear the rest? This metal is obtained by tanning the skin of an animal. 500 sagis to find out its name. It's a legendary lizard known as a salamander. It can walk through fire without any discomfort. The metal has the same properties. 1,000 sagis to know the name of the town where this metal can be found. The name of the town is Kamul. Give me 5,000 sagis, and I will tell you where it can be found. It's a town nearby, to the northeast of Khotan. I wish you success in your business. The wife of Bektor receives you in her private garden near the vast lake. You are surprised, for she is a Westerner, the daughter of a wealthy Genoese merchant. She refuses categorically to return to her husband at Karakum and asks you to tell him so. The situation is a delicate one, for the matter is of the utmost intimacy. Do you agree to leave for Karakum? You take your leave of the pretty young woman and promise her to do your best. But what on earth are you going to tell Bektor? You have taken up quarters in an inn on the edge of the desert. This inexpensive inn is frequented by many travelers. "Is this your first time crossing the desert?" asks a maid. You assure her that since your arrival in the Orient you have crossed countless deserts. "Yes, but none like this one," replies the woman. "I could tell you things that will save your life. Will you pay me 100 sagis? In the desert there are evil spirits who beckon travelers, and then they are lost forever. Would you like to know the means of protecting yourself against them for only 500 sagis? There are balls made from beeswax. Put one into each ear, and then you will be unable to hear the call of the spirits. You will then have no problem crossing the desert. Would you like to buy a pair of wax balls from me for 1,000 sagis? She shows you how to insert the wax balls and adds in a reassuring tone, "Nobody has ever come back to complain. Go your way in hope and inshallah." The horde is on the move by the time you meet up with it again. Surrounded by his other wives, Bektor welcomes you warmly. He orders a halt to prepare a celebration to mark your return. Bektor takes you aside and asks for news of his wife. He is not surprised by your lack of success. "My wife is European. She is not accustomed to our hard way of life. Her luxurious tastes used to cost me a fortune. Would you believe it? 5 gowns in less than 3 years. Would you like to keep the escort I gave you by way of compensation?" As you have failed, you cannot accept a gift. Then you take your leave of Bektor, the chief. After days of searching, you manage to join up with Ugechi's horde. Like all Mongol chiefs, he is constantly changing the position of his camp. You are well received by the warriors of the steppe. By a small stretch of water, Ugechi decides to set up a provisional camp. With great pomp, the chief comes forward to meet you. A reception is organized in your honor. Ugechi himself serves the fermented mare's milk. You have been sent by the Lama of Badashian. Did he entrust you with something for me? You hand over the bag entrusted to you by the Lama. Do you know what it is? Asks Ugechi. Follow me. Inside his yurt, Ugechi carries the powder over to the altar. This incense is a means of honoring our god. Do you agree to go back to the Lama to bring him a gift? I shall entrust you with 8 very fine pearls. Beware of thieves. He accompanies you back outside and wishes you a pleasant journey. You return to the Lama monastery where your friend, the senior monk, resides. He is so overcome with emotion at your arrival that he gives thanks to Buddha. All the monks present join him. Did you find my friend Ugechi? He asks. Did you give him the sacred powder? Praise be to the most holy Buddha. Did he perhaps entrust you with something intended for me? These pearls are magnificent. We shall offer them to Buddha. 7 will suffice him. Take 1 as your reward. May the heavens be favorable to your voyage.
Deal.
At Karachoco, crowds from the entire province have gathered at the market. Though you walk quickly, nothing escapes you. You notice the specialities of each shop. You question one of the merchants to discover the local gossip. You skillfully question him about a particular type of goods he does not sell, arms. You want to know everything about the arms trafficking in the region, its specialities, am I right? But are you prepared to pay me for this information? I know for whom the arms of this town are intended, and also I can tell you the weakness of our craftsmen. Are you willing to pay 100 sagis for that? The arms manufactured here are shipped to the north to supply the Mongol armies. But our craftsmen do not know how to make suits of armor. Would you like more information? Do you wish to know the name of the town in this region where they make suits of armor? Are you prepared to pay 500 sagis for that information? You must go to Tenduk. There you will find splendid armor. Good luck and happy hunting.
Look at this quality. A real bargain and you know it. But take your time. Only because it's you. What quantity are you taking? You won't regret it. For this sort of quality, it really is a friendly price.
It's market day today, and the crowds are pouring into the streets of Kamul. The bright colors, the noise, the excited voices, the fragrances of the spices, you are simply overjoyed by it all. And your instinct as a merchant is particularly keen. Suddenly you notice a display of goods that attracts your attention. Could it be that that fibrous substance with its metallic sheen is what you have been seeking for months? Yes, it is indeed salamander, replies the merchant, but there's nothing animal about its origin. It's a metal that's readily available here at Kamul. Do you know all about its properties? It is resistant to fire. If you had a shield made of this metal, you could advance straight into the flames. Buy as much of it on the market as you can, for this is the only place in the empire where you will find this mineral.
It is impossible to reach this town from where you are now.
You are certainly relieved to return to Sava after all these adventures. You try to find the old man again, hoping that he has not died after all this time. Suddenly you catch sight of him and happily call out to him. But he seems to regret that the salamander is not an animal. You yourself must look for the stone in the heart of the fire. Agreed? Come back and see me next week. I will surely have found a solution by then. The old man is there at the appointed place and time. He seems inspired. I have an idea. A suit of armor made with this metal, salamander, would be proof against fire. Such armor would enable you to enter into the pillar of fire without harm. All you would then have to do is search until you found the stone. Do you agree to have made a salamander suit of armor? Good luck. There are no craftsmen around here capable of accomplishing such a task, but I have heard of a town up in the mountains of China where such a suit of armor could be made.
Deal. Deal. Deal. Deal.
Havada vay bulut gönlüm vay deryada bilirim
Deal. Deal.
To meet the Count, you must travel to the Great Wall of China. Built to protect the empire against the barbarians from the north, it proved of little use against the Mongol invasions. And yet Kublai Khan maintains an important garrison there. The Count is currently reviewing the troops in the area. You must wait until evening for his return. Most courteously, the Count begs you to forgive his late arrival. He seems preoccupied and admits that he may require your services. Do you agree to hear his request? My garrison needs new weapons. The craftsmen at Camp Theo are skilled, but they are lacking a type of steel known as Indianite. Would you be able to find some? Here are 50,000 sagis. That should be sufficient to purchase 50 sacks of Indianite. If not, buy the required quantity and I shall refund you the difference. Good luck.
excellent merchandise, and I'm selling it at the best possible price.
Bir elle, bu da ne bilgiyle kelle, bu da ne bilgiyle.
All right, it's a deal. How many shall I give you?
İçimge gelmiyorsun, sizge
You'll be satisfied. There's no better on the market. You chose well. You won't find any better than you will here.
Ben sayinde bile, merem sayinde bile, ben sayinde bile. Sırtımda bir elle.
Deal.
One day, to kill time, you decide to take a walk through the village. An old man calls over to you, inviting you to enter his house. "Are you not one of those round-eyed men from the far west?" he exclaims. "You have obviously come to this region for trading purposes. Except for the porcelain, there is not much of interest around here. Are you interested in arms dealing?" he whispers. The man gives a little smile of complicity. "Do you know where to find the best gunsmiths in China? You will find them at Tenduk, and they are also the least expensive. For 100 sagis, I shall tell you the route to follow to get there. Agreed? You must first travel south towards Kamsio, then to the east as far as Egrigaya. Tenduk is the first town to the north. Farewell and safe journey." Karakoram is the former capital of the Mongols. The horse market there is the most famous throughout the empire. As you examine one particular horse for sale, an old Mongol addresses you. You are a traveler from the west, are you not? Perhaps you could do me a favor. All my life I have been at war with the Saracens, the old warrior confesses to you. I had amassed many trophies in my yurt, but it was burnt down last summer. Would you be able to procure for me one or even several scimitars? Wonderful. Make sure they're well used, if possible. I shall await your return with impatience. You enter the magnificent palace of Kublai Khan. As always, a crowd of courtiers is pressing for an audience. But the Emperor of China does not keep you waiting, for great travelers always have his ear. He finds you most likable and offers you a special employment. Do you agree to work for him? I wish you to go and supervise the collection of taxes at Sinju. Do you agree? You must leave as soon as possible. I will give you an escort of horsemen. One day you happen to be visiting the village with no particular purpose. An old man invites you to have tea with him. You are a stranger here, that is clear. Don't you fear the lions? Seeing your ignorance, he explains to you that the region is infested with lions. No one can sleep outside for fear of being devoured. Would you like to know how they are hunted? The region is also famous for its very large dogs, vicious beyond belief. For the hunt itself, one horseman takes 2 dogs with him. When confronted with the lion, the dogs split up. While the lion chases one of them, the other attacks until the lion is completely exhausted. All the hunter then has to do is kill the lion with an arrow. Would you like to hunt in this way? Unfortunately, it is not yet the hunting season. Come back in 3 months. I hope at least that you appreciated my tea. Farewell.
Look at this quality. A real bargain and you know it, but take your time. It's excellent merchandise and I'm selling it at the best possible price. You won't regret it. For this sort of quality, it really is a friendly price.
The legend of the Gold King keeps running through your mind. You dream of a hidden treasure. You have been shown the way to the home of an old man who knows all the legends of the past. He invites you to have tea with him. This powerful lord was the trusty liege of Prester John, but with great arrogance he rebelled. Unable to take his town by force, Prester John had him betrayed by his own servants. He did not have him executed, but made him look after his sheep. The former king remained a shepherd for 2 long years. Then Prester John had him summoned and recalled not only his arrogance, but also his good qualities as king. He reinstated him on the throne, and from then on he proved to be Prester John's most loyal vassal. "Did you find this story interesting?" asks the old man. "It is not a mere tale, but a true story. You can relate it to the people of your country." You meet the Count once again at the Great Wall. He is pleased by the success of your mission and congratulates you. Thanks to you, our garrison will be newly equipped. Is there any request you wish to make? Some money problems, no doubt? Expenses were greater than expected? Would 25,000 sagis settle my debt? All right, I shall go to 50,000 sagis, but I refuse to believe that your sacks of Indianite cost you more than that. Farewell, my friend. Perfect. As your reward, I shall give you as many swords as you brought me sacks of precious Indianite. On your arrival at Tenduk, you ask your way to the best arms manufacturer in the town. He is the official purveyor to the armies of the Great Khan. Once in the shop, you immediately ask to see the proprietor. The owner comes forward and asks you, is it for a special order? You explain to him that you would like him to make you armor of salamander. He examines your metal and pulls a face. That metal of yours won't be tough enough for war. It looks like wool. Do you insist? Well, it's your problem after all, providing you pay. It will cost you 10,000 sagis. Agreed? A deal is struck. I shall have your armor delivered to you. The man sees you out, telling you a number of anecdotes aimed at proving the excellence of his arms. Your seemingly interminable quest is coming to an end. All you have to do now is find the old man. You meet him not far from the Pillar of the Magi. "Do you have the magical armor, my son?" he asks worriedly. You confirm that you do. "I cherish the day you arrived here," he exclaims. "Are you prepared to put on the armor to enter the Pillar of Fire?" Wearing the armor, you enter the incandescent pillar. The villagers gather to witness your exploit. But it's impossible to find any stone within the sticky, blackish liquid from where fire worthy of hell gushes out. You come out exhausted and covered in tar. "The treasure is this oil on the armor," says the old man. "It burns far better than the coal from China. One day it will sell for the price of gold." "It's too black," you answer, "and dirty. This vulgar lamp oil cannot surely be deemed to be a treasure." Disappointed and saddened, you leave the old man and his vision of treasure. The Duchess of Kasyonfu is a Mongol aristocrat from the family of the Great Khan. She receives you most graciously in her winter garden. She is rumored to be eccentric, but her wealth is without limit. She adores travelers and exotic tales. "Have you witnessed any extraordinary things?" she whispers to you. The Duchess listens attentively to the tales of your voyages. She mentions to you a famous astrologer at Suju. Would you be prepared to consult him on her behalf? My question is as follows. Will I succeed in getting my daughter married? On your return from Suju, I shall not forget to reward you generously. Let us now finish our tea while listening to this wonderful music. You are strolling nonchalantly about the streets of the small town. An old man invites you to his home. He offers you tea and tells you of another Westerner he once knew. According to his description, you realize that the man in question is the famous Marco Polo. The man is said to have taken part in the capture of Saianfu by the armies of Kublai Khan. After 3 years of fruitless siege, Marco Polo suggested to Kublai that they should build mangonels. This piece of machinery used in the West was capable of hurling enormous boulders on the town. After 3 days of intense bombardment, the inhabitants of Saianfu surrendered to the Great Khan. Are you not proud of your compatriot? The old man adds, Signor Polo was so pleased to have been of service to the Khan. It was the first time he had been able to demonstrate an invention that the Chinese did not have already. The old man seems disappointed. Signor Polo was so pleased to have been of service to the Khan. It was the first time he had been able to demonstrate an invention that the Chinese did not have already. The old man adds, Signor Polo was so pleased to have been of service to the Khan. It was the first time he had been able to demonstrate an invention that the Chinese did not have already. town Kublai has sent you to is more like a small peasant village. Throughout the year, its inhabitants scrape a living from the paddy fields. Once the harvest is in, the tax collector arrives. You observe attentively the way in which things take place. In lieu of taxes, the tax collector commandeers the harvest and leaves only a fraction to the peasants, just enough to replant and subsist until the next season. And yet Kublai only demands and obtains 1/10 of the harvest from his collectors. No one protests at this blatant injustice, for power is at the service of corruption. You have obtained sweeping powers from Kublai. Do you intervene? Your intervention does not meet with the approval of the collector and the soldiers accompanying him. You prefer to withdraw in order not to provoke any clashes with your escort. It is not for you to take the place of the Khan's justice. You simply take good note of all that you see in order to report to Kublai. As the Duchess has said, an entire quarter of the town belongs to the astrologers. A palace had even been built for the most famous among them. In China, astrology is essential for all the important moments in one's existence. The date for a wedding could never be set without knowing the exact position of the planets. Your turn arrives, and Suju's most reputed astrologer leans towards you. "You have traveled a long way to consult me," states the astrologer. "Do you wish to know your future, noble stranger?" "You try and pass yourself off as a simple merchant, but you are far more ambitious. You are resolved to find glory and power. I advise you to frequent the Khan's court. But give yourself the means for your ambition. Do not neglect your material wealth. Do you also wish to consult for someone else?" "Yes, the lady in question is the Duchess of Kassionfu. Will she get her daughter married?" "The answer is yes, provided that her daughter goes to Xiandu to the summer palace of Kublai. 2,000 sagis is the fee for my consultation. Do you pay the astrologer?" The Magus is furious. "The stars will no longer be with you. And beware, I have friends in very high places at court." Go in peace, and report my words to your lady friend. You will certainly reap a reward if you hurry back. During the Festival of Flowers, the inns are completely full. You try and stay with someone local. You manage to persuade a young girl who welcomes you into her family. Everyone is excited at the prospect of welcoming a stranger, especially a handsome Westerner they assume to be rich and in favor at court. Very soon the discussion turns to the Khan's policy towards foreigners. All Kublai's counselors are of foreign origin, says the young girl's father. You would think he is suspicious of us Chinese. Are you interested in politics? The new governor of Quinsai has opted to convert to Christianity. Would you like to know the consequences of that choice? Such information could be of value to a shrewd merchant. I don't think 100 sagis would be too high a price for it. Don't you agree? The governor's conversion has exasperated the Chinese population. A town close by has rebelled. For 500 sagis, I could tell you which one. The inhabitants of Wugyu have rebelled and are looking for arms, whispers your host. Then the old man changes the subject and goes on to talk about the weather. You are cordially received by Ahmed, the governor of the town. But he is also one of Kublai Khan's most influential counselors. Ahmed complains to you about his health which concerns him greatly. Would you be kind enough to go and fetch a renowned physician who lives in the neighboring province? He is an excellent acupuncturist who practices at Qingyanfu. Can you set off to find him? Here is a purse of gold for your sundry expenses. You shall not be disappointed by my generosity if you succeed. After several hours of fruitless searching, you enter an inn for refreshment. Your guide is discouraged. I do not know the acupuncturist you are talking about. Little flute-like giggles go up from the window. A group of street urchins offers to guide you there. You follow the merry gang through the lively streets of the market. You begin to wonder whether they are leading you into a trap. But here is your untraceable acupuncturist. You ask him to come with you, but he refuses. Do you insist? You observe his art and find this method of healing rather absurd. You leave somewhat crestfallen. Will you dare to appear before Ahmed again at Kaiton? You increase your offer, but the acupuncturist demands 5,000 sagis. Do you accept? The practitioner finishes the treatment he was dispensing. He then agrees to accompany you. On your return with the acupuncturist, you arrive by night at Ahmed's palace. In the palace courtyard, you are surprised to hear the music of celebration sounding in the evening air. Ahmed seems surprised to see you again. "And who is your Chinese companion?" he asks you. "An acupuncturist? For me? But I've never felt better." You attempt to conceal your surprise and your irritation. "This good man should get back to his patients, who surely have a greater need for his services. I thank you nonetheless for your concern about my health, but I am so well that I have organized a small celebration. Would you care to join us, dear friend?" "Oh, you have to leave again. What a pity. Would you like a small consideration for your trouble?" "You are too good. It will be your downfall. See you soon, I hope." The celebrations last all night. You are the best friends in the world. But he never again refers to the reward he promised. Oh, you have to leave again. What a pity. Would you like a small consideration for your trouble? Here is a purse of gold. Do not thank me. I know I am generous. Come back whenever you wish. Immediately upon your return to Cassionfu, you are received by the Duchess. After the customary niceties, she anxiously inquires about her concern. Did you obtain the oracle's answer? Did he say that my daughter would be married? Your answer leaves the Duchess speechless for a moment. What sad news! I fear this matter will consume my mind. I thank you for your diligence. You will always be welcome at my court. Farewell, good sir. Your answer leaves the Duchess speechless for a moment. The seer said it so. My daughter will be married. What joy! Is it good to send her to her aunts at Karakoram? That's what I thought. She is a loose woman. Do you think perhaps I should send her to her good uncle at Karakum? But what should I do then? I almost feel as if I should accompany her myself to the Khan's summer palace at Xiandu. Do you think that is a good idea? I shall follow such wise counsel. Here is a purse of gold as your reward. I thank you for your diligence. You will always be welcome at my court. I shall follow such wise counsel. Here is a purse of... That's what I thought. She is a loose woman. Do you think perhaps I should send her to her good uncle at Karakum? I shall follow such wise... But what should I do then? I almost feel as if I should accompany her myself to the Khan's summer palace at Xiandu. Do you think that is a good idea? I shall follow such wise counsel. Here is a purse of gold as your reward. I thank you for your diligence. You will always be welcome at my court. Farewell, good sir. Kublai Khan prefers to receive you in private. Only his closest counselor is present. Your report saddens me a great deal, says Kublai in a tired voice. I did not realize just how brutal the tax collectors were. The system must be reformed. Do you wish for a reward for this mission? But I insist, exclaims the Emperor. Take this embroidered belt. I appreciate modesty and unselfishness.
Deal. Deal. Deal. Deal. Deal.
This village appears to be an important trading crossroads. Large crowds gather round stalls brimming over with spices of all kinds. The shopkeepers shouting and merry banter, the strong exotic fragrances all have an intoxicating effect on the traveler. Your attention is drawn by the neat way in which one particular shopkeeper has arranged his wares and the precision of his manner. You address him. "Hello there! What a crowd there is today!" "The new harvest has just arrived," the man replies. "Have you tasted the local speciality? Ginger is so abundant and so delicious here that it's exported as far afield as the Indies, and even to Kurmos. Good day, traveler." "Then you should buy some, for here you will find the best quality at the cheapest price. Good day, traveler."
Deal.
It is discourteous for a stranger to pass through Sindufu without paying a visit to the high priest. The high priest has the ear of all the Buddhists in southern China. "Do you know," he asks you, "which are the two arts capable of uniting our people? Music, of course, which is used in our rituals, but there's nothing like theater when it comes to ideas. Would you care to watch a performance and then report to me on the effect it has on the public? I have been told of a troupe that is very popular and currently performing not very far to the south. Would you mind going there and reporting to me in detail on the performance? Leave immediately for Fuju. I am already on tenterhooks."
Deal.
As you walk through the streets of the town, you notice a certain nervousness. Mongol soldiers, no doubt under the orders of the town's prince, are out on patrol. They're all over the town. The inhabitants appear more and more worried. The soldiers enter all the shops, searching for who knows what. A group of armed men walks up to you. "A rebellion is brewing in our town. Are you involved in arms dealing, stranger?" "We would prefer it if you did not remain here. Complete your business affairs quickly and continue on your journey. Go in peace. All right, move along and conduct as much business as you like. Our pearls are rightly renowned throughout the region. One day, rather than go to the market, you visit the town with no particular objective in mind. You come across an old peasant who, delighted to meet a Westerner, invites you to his home. He offers you tea, and you get him to talk to you about local customs. In our province, he tells you, when a woman has given birth, it's the woman's lord who gets into bed and takes the child with him. He then remains in bed for 40 days, and all his friends and relatives come to see him. They stay with him and involve him in a great celebration and in conversation. For the woman has endured the burden of carrying the child for 9 months, and so the man, too, must bear his share of the burden. And the woman is then able to look after the housework and waits on her lord in bed as if he were the one who gave birth to the child. Don't you think that's an interesting story? You maintain that the people of your country would find this story as curious as it is edifying. Then you take leave of your host.
Deal.
You are strolling about one day when you don't feel like going to the market. From the doorway of his house, an old man beckons you to him. "Come and have some tea with me, stranger, and tell me about your travels." The old man listens to your tales with attention. Then he too tells you about the town's history. Some years ago, the great Khan sent an army to conquer this province. The capital had 2 large round towers, one covered in gold, the other in silver. It was the tomb of an ancient king of Mien. The Khan's soldiers did not dare touch it, In spite of their immense value, Kublai explicitly prohibited anyone from knocking the towers down, for it is a great sin to move what belongs to the dead. Do you think he was right? I think you are in the wrong, for the people here have been faithful to him ever since that gesture. Go and tell this story further, so that your friends may know about the greatness of our Khan's mind. There is no doubt the local people were so grateful they handed over more gold than he would have obtained otherwise. Go and tell this story further, so that your friends may know about the greatness of our Khan's mind. One day, as you are crossing the village street, you hear a tiny voice. Behind a grill, you notice the face of a young girl who invites you to come in. She begins, naturally, by offering you tea, then comes to the subject that is worrying her. She is very frightened because there are spirits haunting her house. Are you afraid of ghosts? The girl has difficulty holding back her tears. What will become of me if all men are cowards? Gently but firmly she shows you out of her home. These spirits are awful. They appear virtually every night. It starts with objects moving around the house on their own. Then the ghosts possess my mind and force me to perform dreadful acts. Will you help me? Begs the wretched child. The girl has difficulty holding. You will have to spend the night in the house with her. Do you agree? At that moment an old lady appears, and the girl introduces her to you as her mother. They prepare a so-called magic potion for you, which proves to be rather soporific. By daybreak, you are alone in the house, without furniture, and your purse has disappeared. On your arrival in the village, you hear laughter and shouting. The entire population appears to have gathered to watch a sort of stage performance. The actors wear masks. You observe attentively. One of the actors is wearing the traditional costume of Kublai's tax collectors. The audience seems spellbound by this performance, which alludes to their miserable condition. The collector takes away the entire harvest of the poor peasants. Stifled protests and moans go up from the audience. When the actors finish their performance, they receive enthusiastic applause. Do you consider it worthwhile to take a look behind the scenes? You climb onto the stage to mingle with the actors. You tell the leading actor that the play is an attack on the power of Kublai. Do you ask the actor for his name? The actor refuses to answer and asks, "Who has sent you to spy on me?" Do you answer that you have been sent by the high priest? "He's my father," admits the actor, relieved. "Tell him I did my duty at Fuju and that I am continuing the anti-Mongol tour. Farewell." The high priest listens attentively to your report of the play. He asks a great many questions on the reactions of the peasant audience. It's a subversive work. And did you speak to the actors? Would you go and report to Kublai Khan on their statements and the content of the play? I cannot let you do such a thing. My son plays the lead role in the play. Kublai would have him executed. I must keep you away. You will have to spend the rest of your life behind the walls of this temple. For you, the game is over.
Unfortunately, your mission has failed.
You did well. The work comes first. In any case, actors only ever talk about themselves. You deserve a reward for your trouble. Now, please accept these 2 small gems. They are works of art, and what's more, they've been consecrated. I hope to see you again soon. You enter the magnificent palace of Kublai Khan. As always, a crowd of courtiers is pressing for an audience. But the Emperor of China does not keep you waiting. For great travelers always have his ear. Kublai is looking for a reliable man for a confidential mission. Do you agree to render this service for him? Just what I expected from you. You shall be my eyes and observe a ceremony which you will then describe to me in detail. Are you prepared to leave for Changli? My horsemen will escort you. According to your information, the ceremony is to take place at the Lion's Gate near the great Buddhas. Indeed, you see the young boy's family arrive in procession. From the other side, the young girl's procession arrives. The two children are depicted in the form of effigies, for both families have experienced the terrible fate of seeing their child die. They have therefore decided to wed them so that they would not be alone in eternity. Moreover, it allows the union of two wealthy families and the resulting political advantages. After pronouncing the sacred wedding formula, a Buddhist priest sets fire to the two effigies. The paper of which they are made flares up instantly. Offerings are also burnt to accompany the children to the next world. Nothing about the ceremony escapes you, and yet you hesitate. Should you go and meet the families? You wait patiently for the end of the ceremony before asking a question of one of the members of the boy's family. He does not answer. Do you give up? The families find you troublesome and drag you before the governor of the town. Before him you argue in your capacity as special envoy of Kublai Khan. The governor, most annoyed, advises you to return to Kambaluk. Do you comply? To safeguard the peace in his town, the governor is forced to insist. These families are very influential. I must ask you to leave. Do you accept? The governor fines you 10,000 sagis. He threatens to have you sent to prison if you do not leave his town forthwith. You observe all the details to report later to Kublai. Kublai Khan prefers to receive you in private. He listens to your report and congratulates you. One of the children was my cousin. Did you speak to the families? You did well. It was important that you didn't. As a reward, I give you this superb porcelain dinner service. You enter the magnificent palace of Kublai Khan. As always, a crowd of courtiers is pressing for an audience. But the Emperor of China does not keep you waiting, for great travelers always have his ear. Kublai entrusts you with a strange mission: to find 100 bags of salt as quickly as possible. Do you accept? Ah, thank you. You will be saving the feast I am preparing. Can you leave quickly to find this salt I need? Here is a purse of gold for your expenses. Hurry back.
Quality the country has to offer. Now go, before I regret the gift I've just made you.
Kublai Khan prefers to receive you in private. He has the salt sent to the kitchens. May I do something for you by way of a reward? Kublai graciously gives you part of the salt. I am pleased by the devotion you show in serving me, exclaims the delighted sovereign. You have my entire confidence. You were received in the grand audience chamber at the palace. This is where Kublai conducts the affairs of the Mongol Empire. He offers you a mission. Do you agree to travel? The Baron, who commands the garrison on the Great Wall of China, no longer enjoys the Emperor's confidence. Are you prepared to travel to Egrigaya to examine the situation? Keep your eyes peeled. Get all the information you can from the Baron. I want to know why arms trafficking, which is banned within my empire, continues to progress. The Baron in command of the garrison at Egrigaya resides in a tower on the Great Wall. You announce yourself as a special envoy of the Emperor. You are immediately shown to the heart of the fortification. The Baron receives you. He assures you that he applies the imperial laws to the letter. Do you wish to question him about his activities? The Baron has you review the guards. They all seem well turned out. I have them drill every day, boasts the Baron. Do you question him about discipline? The Baron easily proves to you that order and discipline reign supreme here. All you have to do now is make your report to the Emperor. Kublai Khan prefers to see you in private with his closest counselor. He questions you at length on Egrigaya. Do you have anything to criticize about discipline at the garrison? Well, that's something anyway. Do you have anything to complain about concerning the Baron's accounts? The Baron contributes considerable sums to the treasury, but may perhaps be concealing even larger sums. Are you saying that this is a case of corruption? Your vague suspicions confirm those held by Kublai. He will undoubtedly be dispatching another investigator. Kublai gives you a handsome purse of gold and then dismisses you. You enter the magnificent palace of Kublai Khan. As always, a crowd of courtiers is pressing for an audience. But the Emperor of China does not keep you waiting, for great travelers always have his ear. Kublai Khan offers you a mission to southern China. Do you accept the proposition? Could you report to the Emperor on the details of a ceremony about to be held at Qinjianfu? Be discreet and don't give yourself away. Then report to me about everything your eyes will have seen. You arrive on time on the day on which the ceremony is to take place on the river. The villagers have decorated their boats so that they may become the dragons of the river. The dragon is a powerful symbol of glory and prosperity. By leading the dragons along the river and honoring them with offerings, the peasants attract the good graces of the water deities. In return, they will make the harvests grow and make the fishing plentiful. You observe the course of the ceremony to report on it with precision to Kublai. Once the celebrations are over, do you go and question the peasants? You go down to the water's edge and question a peasant on the significance of the ceremony. He tells you of the river dragons that travel from the sea, bringing the fish. Another peasant, for his part, tells you of the great dragon in the sky that makes the rain fall. All the peasants you question give you a different version. You leave somewhat confused. The Emperor receives you in the grand audience chamber at the palace. All the courtiers listen to your report on the ceremony of the dragon boats. One baron suggests that this fascinating custom be spread throughout China. "You're right," exclaims Kublai. "I shall spread this custom throughout the empire." "Did you speak to the peasants directly?" "That was not very wise. I hope you did not frighten them. These peasants are fearful of strangers. I told you to observe with your eyes only. Here is a purse of gold by way of compensation." "That is not part of your mission. You prefer to return and report to Kublai." The Emperor receives you in the grand audience chamber at the palace. All the courtiers listen to your report on the ceremony of the dragon boats. One baron suggests that this fascinating custom be spread throughout China. "You're right," exclaims Kublai. "I shall spread this custom throughout the empire." "Did you speak to the peasants directly?" "You did well. You were not meant to. As a reward, I would like to offer you this magnificent ruby." You enter the magnificent palace of Kublai Khan. As always, a crowd of courtiers is pressing for an audience. But the Emperor of China does not keep you waiting. For great travelers always have his ear. Kublai Khan offers you a confidential mission. Do you accept? You must go and check the tax revenue from the town of Tianfu and bring back the monies. Are you prepared to leave? There is no question of you refusing. You know I hate that. You know the mission. All you have to do is carry it out.